All right, welcome. Week 3. This week we've got a German movie. So we had an Italian movie last week, and the week before that we had an American movie. And this week we have a German movie. I don't speak German, but here is the title on the screen. It translates to Witches Tortured Until They Bleed. Or maybe it's Tortured Witches Until They Bleed. Either way, pretty catchy. In the United States, it was released as Mark of the Devil. So you may have heard of this one, or you may have not. Mark of the Devil was released 2 years after this movie, Witchfinder General. Witchfinder General was a British movie from 1968, where Vincent Price played Matthew Hopkins. Matthew Hopkins was a real person in England in the 1640s that would go around and accuse women of being witches, and men of being witches, and then execute them. He said he worked for the government. He did not work for the government. This is all true. In the movie, you've got Vincent Price portraying Matthew Hopkins, and he goes around and does just that. Eventually, of course, he accuses someone whose boyfriend doesn't like that his girlfriend has been accused, and then we have a clash. Now, in this movie, Mark of the Devil, we don't have Vincent Price, but we do have Udo Kier. You may recognize Udo Kier because he's been in about 200 movies. Udo Kier has been in Rob Zombie's Halloween, Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem. He's been in, he's been in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. He's been in Armageddon. He's been in Suspiria. He's been in tons of movies. So that's Udo Kier. And Udo Kier is a little bit of a more hopeful witch finder. He doesn't just go around accusing anyone. He actually has some kind of moral compass, and he only tortures and kills people he really thinks are witches, okay? Unlike this guy, whose name is Albino, this guy here, and he's more like Vincent Price style, Matthew Hopkins style. He's going around poking people in the face, trying to find out if they're witches or not. He accuses women that he wants to have sex with and they say no. He accuses men who have more money than he does, and he wants to take their money. So if he has a problem with you, he's accusing you. Now, this takes place not in England, but in the Holy Roman Empire in the 1700s. Holy Roman Empire in the 1700s, made up of Germany, Austria, Italy, a little French area, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Netherlands. We've got all sorts of places here. Bavaria. We also have Bohemia. We also have Styria, which, a little foreshadowing, we're going to talk about a movie that takes place in Styria next week. Okay, so we've got Witchfinders in the Holy Roman Empire, and I want to take you back here to the American poster here. Look what we have here. Positively the most horrifying film ever made. Guaranteed to upset your stomach. The first film rated V for violence. Not sure that's a real rating. And here's the best part here. Due to the horrifying scenes, no one admitted without a vomit bag. So in the United States, they would give you a free vomit bag in the box office when you go see this movie. So the Witchfinder General, and from 1968, was extremely popular, and this kind of piggybacked on it. Actually did better in the box office than Witchfinder General did, possibly because of this poster. So does it live up to the rating of V for violence? I would say yes. We have so much brutality in this movie, especially for 1970. If you don't want to hear what happens in the movie, you can pause it now. Pause the video. So we have hands cut off, people getting tarred and feathered, people being hanged, people being burned alive, people having their feet burned, Chinese water torture. We have thumb screws, finger screws. We have people getting stretched out on a rack, people getting whipped on their feet, people getting whipped on their face, people getting whipped on their back. We have a bench with spikes in it. We have a man get his pants ripped off and he has to sit down on the spiky bench with his bare butt. He has to put his feet in this like stock, and then he has his feet whipped as his butt is being punctured. Then later, the same guy is sitting in a chair with a hole in the bottom, and they light a fire under his ass, literally. We also have the absolute most squirm-inducing part of this movie is shown right here on the poster. We've got a woman accused of being a witch. She's got this thing in her mouth, and it's holding her mouth open. And then here we have, we could call them forceps or pliers. And they go in and they take her tongue out. And the camera does not turn away from this. So for 1970, or like any time, seeing someone's tongue get ripped out of their mouth is pretty rough. So, I mean, I didn't vomit, but it was pretty gross. This movie was made in Germany. Actually, it was shot in Austria in a real castle. A West German made movie shot in Austria in a castle where witches were actually tortured in real life. And all the torture equipment, including this stuff here, was real witch torturing equipment that had been left for historic value inside the castle. And the people making the movie were able to use it in the film. We had actors in this movie from all different countries. Germany, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Great Britain, and even Serbia. The main woman in the movie is a Serbian actress. She spoke Serbian in the movie. We have people speaking German in the movie. We have people speaking English in the movie. And on the set, there were 6 different languages being spoken each day. So the whole movie then is dubbed. Now, if the whole movie is going to be dubbed, you might as well watch it in English, in my opinion. Usually foreign films I like to watch in their original language, and then I can hear the actors act in their original tongue. But in this case, there was no original tongue because everyone in the movie is speaking a different language. You can tell when our boy Udo here is talking, he's speaking English. There's other characters that what they're saying doesn't match up at all. So I watched it in English. That when you get dubbed acting, it's not as good as if you have authentic real acting, but it was still good. If The Witchfinder General had never come out, and this was like the first witch-finding movie, I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. But the fact that it had been done 2 years before, and this was kind of just cashing in on the popularity of Witchfinder General, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. It definitely raises the bar for violence when compared to the Witchfinder General. But at the time, we had other movies, including I Drink Your Blood, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, where people's heads were getting cut off, people were rabid, people were getting raped and blood everywhere. So it's not like it was the only movie. I would not say it is the first rated V for violence movie. In fact, Blood Feast, which I think came out in 1964, is way gorier than anything we've talked about in 1970 so far. I mean, Blood Feast was actually gross. Like, it's Blood Feast. So, I also want to point out this music right here. This is the score of the film. I'm turn it up a little bit. And this part especially, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but if you watch the beginning of Cannibal Holocaust, it's very, very, very similar. It's got the same vibe, and both movies give off this vibe where like everything's nice, especially this one. It's kind of like a nice historic piece. Everyone's happy in the beautiful lands of Austria, but people are getting tortured throughout the movie. So it's got this cool contrast that I like. The whole thing is well done. The movie looks pretty. we can't tell how great all these actors truly are because it's dubbed. But I give it an 8 out of 10. I would suggest watching it. And until next time, take care.